I fought those 85 fights just out of sheer, I guess, ego, and my belief in myself. Because there's no way I'm an 85er. I could make 85 basically any day of the week.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's just jump right into it, Adam. June 10th, UFC 289. They move you to the pay-per-view main card. How do you feel about that?
Man, it's a dream come true. That's where I want to be. I want to be on those main cards. I want to sooner, than later. I want to make my way up and hopefully be on the pay-per-view, the main event. That's the dream, to be there fighting for titles and bringing in crowds.
Exactly, man. It's a huge opportunity. And, just going back to your last fight, I remember we spoke before that fight and you told me that you're basically fighting for a contract to kind of extend with the UFC. Did you get a long-term deal done before you booked this fight?
Corrected. I've been corrected on that. Apparently, after the Michael Morales fight, I had a 4-fight contract off of that fight. So, including that fight, I had earned myself a contract. So, I have been corrected in that. I will have to own that, but I guess that just shows how clueless I am. I'm just here as a fighter.
All right, man. Well, maybe hopefully, you get a new contract after this. You never know with the UFC, right? You could fight 2 fights and they're coming with a new contract to give you 6 more fights. That's what they've been doing recently.
I've been fighting these UFC Contender Series guys, and their show up money's worth more than my win money. So hey, let's bump this thing up a little bit. I want to prove my worth, and I think I've done that, thus far. I want to do it again on June 10th. So, man, let's get me in a little bit bigger contract.
Yeah, without a doubt, you deserve that. You're facing Mike Malott. Probably, a lot of people are considering him the best prospect Canada has to offer at this moment in the UFC. What are your thoughts on him and the style that he brings?
Well, shoot, man, I go from Kinoshita, who's one of the biggest prospects, to the Canadian. Shoot, man, he's very athletic. He's got good power. What I've noticed is, he finds those spaces where he gets guys overcommitted, and he finds those spaces where he can really sit down and throw hard, and you just got to be really aware of where those are at, and fight at your space. Make sure you're fighting at the right pace, and he's also shown some takedowns and jiu-jitsu abilities. So he's well-rounded like myself, and it's going to be the clash of the two guys that are really well-rounded, and I think the guy with the better game plan is going to come out the winner on this one.
It seems like in his last couple of performances, especially the ones in the UFC, he's very good at picking out his opportunities and going after it right in the first round, because he has 2 first-round finishes. Does anything else stick out about his performances against Mickey Gall and Hyon?
I don't know what happened in the Hyon fight, or what Johan's game plan was. He kind of sat there on the line a little bit and ended up getting clipped and find himself on the deck, and Mike was able to grab that arm triangle finish and get him. Mickey Gall, it's just like I just said, he got himself overextended in the zone that Mike had sat down and was able to throw hard. But prior to that, Mickey was touching him pretty well with that jab. And so, just kind of watching that, it shows that, he's definitely hittable, and that's never a good thing as a fighter. You definitely want to shore up some of those defenses, and he may have, but I'm looking in there. I'm looking to go in there and touch him up. So
you're a guy that was fighting at a higher weight, coming down to welterweight. He was fighting at featherweight, I believe. Now he's fighting at welter. It's crazy, right? Like how he's 6'1", and he was cutting down to featherweight. That must have some kind of negative effects, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. That's a huge drop. That's more than 2 weight classes, right? Because 45, 55. If we had a 65 division, that would be the second division right there. So he's coming up like a 2 and almost a full 2 weight classes, almost 2.5. So yeah, I would never be able to cut that much weight. And me fighting up a weight class there's a misconception there that I'm actually big enough for 85, and I fought those 85 fights just out of sheer, I guess, ego, and my belief in myself. Because there's no way I'm an 85 or I could make 85 basically any day of the week, with very little weight cuts. So, I think we'll be a lot closer in size than people think. I have put on some muscle mass and shored up some of the strength and conditioning portions. But yeah, to fight down at 45, that's just that the the water cut alone would just take so much out of you. I bet you he's much better off, at the 170-pound weight class now.
There's got to be benefits for you to be fighting guys at 185 because they're just bigger, stronger, they hit harder. You kind of get an idea of like, okay, I'm able to take these shots. I'm able to like get on the ground with these bigger dudes in a real actual fight and perform well, right?
Right. It's definitely it's a confidence booster. They definitely are strong though, man. It's a whole nother level of strength. I'll tell you that much. So you definitely have to be on your game. You don't want to take too many of those shots because as we know as fighters, it's not always the hardest or shot. Sometimes it's a weak one. It's the one you don't see. It's the one that just catches you right. It does not take much to turn the lights out. So you definitely got to be aware. And I think that fighting some of those bigger guys definitely made me a little bit more respectful of their hands and their power and making sure my defense is where it's supposed to be.
Your last fight, first round TKO finish. What did you take away from everything that happened before the stoppage? What did your coaches say when you got back home?
I mean, it was really a culmination of everything we were going for in camp. We knew he was going to come out strong. We knew he's kind of a in your face bully mentality fighter, and if we let him get away with it was going to be a bad night for us. And so we really had to make him slow down to our pace of fight and fight out there in our space, and just everything culminating in that one round there. And you know. I knew that sooner or later I'd be able to get in on a takedown and at least wear on him a little bit. That wrestler, kind of just grinder mentality, and so yeah, it all culminated the way it was supposed to, and we just kind of we got back, and it's a little bit like of a awestruck moment of like how it played out. My visualization and preparation and stuff, and everything we talked about in camp just kind of fell into place right then and there.
How good is your vision without glasses?
It's good.
Okay.
It's not. I'm like farsighted, so like if I look across the room, I can't necessarily read everything, but it's not bad at all.
Oh, you're like me then. Like you could
Yeah,
take them off and go train. You could
yeah.
go. You could probably drive with them. Without them, you just can't read things. Letters are
Right.
just difficult to kind of figure out, right?
Letters are hard,
Yeah.
and I wear them because one, I like how I look in them, and and thank you, Laura Senko, for the Clark Kent comparison. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's not bad comparison, man. Not bad.
that's right.
Um, I saw that you started a YouTube channel after your last fight. Everybody make sure go and subscribe to that and go watch the videos. What was the inspiration behind that?
I don't know if there's so much inspiration as some fellow teammates and guys in the gym going, you need to do this, you need to start it up. People don't know you. You got to start, increasing that fan base and just putting a more of a reach out there. And I've always said, I was like, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna do me any good. I'm a boring guy, I don't do much. I hang out with my dog and enjoy the sunshine when it's sunny here, and then most of the time my routines are pretty simple. Especially in camp. So maybe after this fight, we'll get a little bit more stuff about what I like to do outside of fighting than in there. But I'm like, is this really gonna appeal to anybody to see me constantly doing the same routines?
Well, people are gonna watch, man. That's
For
one thing
sure.
for sure. People are gonna watch. Convergence, PT and Performance. How was it working with them?
Oh man, he's definitely like saved my career. I went in there after the Solomon Renfro fight and had a couple of injuries that had been dealing with I went into the Solomon Renfro fight with a sprained ankle, and I'd been dealing with that for almost a year. And after the Renfro fight, I ended up really tweaking my shoulder, and just, kind of went in there a broken man. And, hey, is this the end of the road for me? Everybody talks about my age. Are these the injuries that are going to start compiling up on me and I'm going to be hunched over and everything? He laughed at me. He said, no, we're going to get you going. And, to Tyler Tanaka's credit, man, he's done everything that he said he was going to do. And I feel like this is the best my body's ever looked. We just did a photo on Instagram of the start of this camp and now at the end of it. And it's crazy. If you take that photo and then go look at the Solomon Renfro photo, and it just looks like two different bodies. It really is. It's made me a lot happier. I never was the person to lift weights. I despised it. I just used to like to train, and now I actually got a little bit of love for going in there and pushing around the weights.
How long has this training camp been?
6 weeks. Right now we're in week 5.
Okay,
so not quite as long as
last one. Before that, what was the training like for you?
After my last fight, they kind of mentioned like potentially a quick turnaround. Be ready, stay ready, and so that's I kind of just came back home. I didn't elect to go do any kind of like vacation or any kind of downtime. I kind of just rolled right back into just getting back into my routine, strength training, conditioning. Of course, every jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and Muay Thai training, all, basically what I'm doing now. So, and then it just kind of kept going out, and I was calling my manager, hey, what's going on? I thought this was going to be quicker than this. And so I haven't stopped really training. And, like I said, that's kind of my life. That's what I love to do. When in doubt, I just revert back to my routines, and there's always something to learn in this sport. There's always ways to get better. And I feel like as long as I'm doing that, then the goals that I have set for myself, then, they're going to be achievable in the long run.
Did you step out of your inner circle and train in other spots during that time?
Unfortunately, I had set up something to do that, but it just didn't work out this time. So I've just been back, back here at home, back to the drawing board, continue to work. I helped Brent Primus get ready for his Bellator lightweight Grand Prix fight. He just won that one, so yeah. I was helping him out in that camp. Just doing what I can and making sure my brother went in there prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, man. Hey, he went in there and took out like the guy that everybody was like, he's the guy, he's the next guy from France. And Brett went in there and did his thing, man. Great momentum for you and him as well. When from watching the videos that you put up on YouTube, I see that you're teaching private sessions. Does that happen all the way to the fight, or do you kind of get rid of those when you get closer?
Yeah, for the most part. This will be the last week. I think my last private is like tomorrow, and then I'm gonna just kind of go into that mode of just focusing on June 10th. So, but yeah, that's another thing. Another part of being in this sport is you're a student, and then I feel like you get so much from being a student, but also trying to be a teacher and an instructor. It brings a whole other level to it. Your mind has to work different. So I really like to take advantage of that too.
Anything new about this camp compared to previous camps? You're a UFC fighter. You have 2 fights in the UFC now. Sometimes you get a little bit, I don't know, are there perks to being a UFC fighter, the perks the UFC provides?
For as far as UFC provide anything, other than just going out to the PI and stuff, no, I nothing there. People around town, I think, get a misconception that I've gotten like a golden ticket or something, or that somehow I'm set for life now that I fought in the UFC. And it's like, you guys can go look up and see how much money I made. So yeah, no, I just nothing really has changed. I'm still going, I think that's another part of the YouTube page is hopefully getting that built up enough with views that I can start hunting out some sponsorships and get some people in my corner to help me out and provide services or products or whatever, and just continue to grow through helping them grow.
Yeah, I can see that happening, man. I think every fighter should probably have a YouTube page, man. Why not? There's always people out there willing to help.
I think that folks are just scared to put their stuff out there, like they're gonna, it is what it is. We're all fighters at the end of the day. You know, there's 2 fights in the UFC on me now, and there's some other fights on YouTube that you can go watch. So I don't feel like I really have anything to hide. At the end of the day, you're still gonna have to get in there and deal with what I bring to the table. So just like I have to deal with everybody else.
Yeah, and man, you're gonna be back in front of that crowd again. You know, your debut was in front of a pay-per-view crowd as well. You know, Canada's best prospect. Yeah, it's like your debut was against one of the best Brazilian prospects. Your second fight was against one of the best Japanese prospects, and now you got one of the best Canadian prospects. Man, they're just giving you, you know, the killer's row, but you're ready for it, man. What can the fans expect from you in this fight?
Oh man, just like they can expect the same Adam Fugitt. I'm going to get in there. I feel like I am incapable of bringing a boring fight. I'm constantly seeking out finishes. You know, Mike's going to seek out his finish. So I just don't feel like, I feel like everybody's should be on the edge of their seat. Should be looking for that finish in there. So, you know, I just want to be known as that guy that, you know, when you see that Adam Fugitt's on the card, you know that is going to be a hell of a fight. And I think I've gotten a little rap now for defying the Vegas odds, you know, and being kind of the ultimate underdog and the guy that hops into enemy territory or have you. So I feel like I've kind of developed that a little bit. And I mean, heck, I'll ride it. You know, I'll ride that wave for as long as I can until the Vegas odds makers stop betting against me.
When you look at Mike Malott's record, man, I think he has like one fight that is out of the first round, win or lose. Like there's only one fight that's out of the first round. That's pretty crazy, right? Like, what does that say about a fighter when they're either finishing the fight in the first round or either getting finished in the first round?
You know, I guess there's a lot of questions to be had about what he's got for the second and the third round, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just, I think it says you gotta really be mindful of you know, everything in that first round. There's no time for mental lapse. One mistake and obviously he can ruin your night for you. So you just gotta be on your best, your best game in that first round. And again, there's a lot of questions going into that second round. I mean, I know what I can do in the second round, the third round. You know, we'll have to find out what Mike can do.
Yeah, the window of a feeling out prospect or a feeling out process is kind of shortened, right? The window because of like the way he has performed in the past. Anyways, man, like you said, this fight is a crazy matchup. I'm happy that it's on the pay-per-view main card, June 10th, UFC 289, Vancouver, Canada. Adam, thank you so much, man, for the time and all the best in the fight.
Thank you for having me on, man. I wish the best for you.